We'll start with Pep Guardiola, who's played down any ill feeling between Manchester City and Real Madrid ahead of the first leg of their Champions League playoff tomorrow night. Madrid boycotted the most recent Ballon d'Or ceremony after it emerged Rodri was to be crowned the winner over Vinicius Jr.
Absolutely not.
What were your thoughts of that when it happened?
Happy for Rodri. Vinicius made an extraordinary year as well, could deserve it, like in the past when Messi Cristiano was fighting for that, but the subject is over.
Let's cross live to the club's training ground now, where Ben Ransom's waiting to speak to us. Good afternoon, Ben. Has a new name for this rivalry emerged this afternoon?
Yeah, it feels that way. One of the Spanish reporters dubbed this the new Clásico, which I quite like because it suggests that these teams have this rivalry in this competition. It brings into, I suppose, focus the nostalgia from the Clásico in Spain and Real Madrid's rivalry with Barcelona when Pep was there, and the way that has now seemingly been transformed into this game in this competition, because you consider how many times these two teams have met in the Champions League. This will be the fourth consecutive season that Manchester City have taken on Real Madrid. And what I like about the last three seasons is the fact that the winner of this tie, be it Real Madrid or be it City, has gone on to lift the trophy as well. So these two teams have got a really good recent history, rivalry. There have been every sort of game. We've seen City blitz Real Madrid at the Etihad. We've seen Real turn up here with the most impressive and defensive-minded situation and squeak through on penalties. We've seen end-to-end matches, great goals. It's an intriguing encounter, certainly, tomorrow. And I think when you look at the way that the teams are coming into this, I think there's an expectation that it will be a game that provides goals. Real Madrid struggling defensively. They've got a number of key personnel out. City have struggled defensively because of having numbers and players fit. So it is an intriguing matchup, but when you look at Real Madrid's history in the competition, they are the kings. Pep puts them up there as the benchmark. And as 15-time winners, that's the level they have to get to if they are to win. But it's a rivalry, a growing rivalry that Pep has been a part of in recent years, and something that he's relishing in terms of the challenge facing his team again tomorrow.
I would say in the last years, yes. We play 8 times, 4 times together. We have good results, bad results. But we won 4, draw 3, lost 1, but at the end it was 2-2 go through. So in terms of the last decade, years, yeah, maybe, because it's not normal to play in the same rival all the time. But in terms of history, Champions League, at the end we cannot compare, to be honest. So against Madrid or Bayern Munich or Barcelona or Milan, or this time of groups, elite groups that we have not been from the history, you know. In the last decade we have been around, but of course in the last years is I don't know, the draw all the times we play against them. There are few clubs in Europe that for the history, for everything, always it doesn't matter where. In a group stage, on the knockout stage, always is difficult. We have not done, how we said, quite well in group stage, so we deserve to be that we are. So the draw is the draw, and accept the challenge.
Now, Ben, as you mentioned, the issues for Real Madrid regarding injuries have not been perfect, have they? But with everything that's happened for Manchester City this season, does Guardiola think that they're underdogs in this tie?
Yeah, you got a sense of it in that last answer where he was talking about their record in this competition so far, and it hasn't been good enough. I mean, the fact that they went right down to the final game round of matches in this competition to get into the top 24, never mind trying to get into the top 8 and skip this knockout playoff round completely. The fact they had to win at home against Club Brugge to make sure their progress after obviously leading away at Paris Saint-Germain, end up losing 4-2 after seeing them here against a final 3 goals up and end up drawing that game. It's not been a fantastic European campaign so far, and I guess it's symptomatic of the difficult season that City have had on a number of fronts. But you're right to point out Real Madrid's injuries as well. Obviously, they have some really big names missing already. They may well be without Lucas Vázquez, who had come into the side to replace Dani Carvajal, who's out long term. The likes of Eder Militao, David Alaba, Antonio Rudiger, all missing potentially for Real Madrid this week, which leaves them having to put together a makeshift defence, which could give City a bit of hope. Whether indeed they're underdogs or favourites, I mean, I guess the local media here in Manchester would assume that Real Madrid would be heavy favourites. Here's how Pep Guardiola sees the balance of power ahead of the tie.
So I think both teams had the problems in terms of injuries during the season. I think Madrid handled it much better than us because still is top of the league and fighting against Atletico Madrid that show again one more year the consistency that they have. And Barcelona right now maybe is one of the best Barcelonans in not that period. So we're playing this season it's playing exceptional, and we can compare in the all Barcelonas, and still with that Madrid is leader. So with the problems that we had, so at the end they are a huge competitor. So we know it. We faced many times with them, and how in the tough moments they bring the best of them. We know it, and of course you have to make 2 good games to go through.
And as much as Real Madrid are having those injuries that Pep there was talking about in defence, you look at their offence and the players they can call upon, the likes of Mbappe, Rodrigo, Vinicius Junior, and of course Jude Bellingham as well. And they are a big part of the reason why Real Madrid are top of La Liga and have coped with their injuries perhaps better than City have, losing someone like Rodri that's hurt them so badly. So it'll be really interesting to see, first of all, how City, what game plan they come up with to try and suppress that attacking threat, and whether indeed they can. And certainly a few questions to Pep Guardiola today about who will deal with the threat of Vinicius Junior after Kyle Walker had some fantastic individual battles and duels with him in recent meetings, with Walker having departed in January. So that's something that Pep's got to think about. And in terms of his own team selection, it'll be interesting to see who is out on the training pitch today. We didn't actually get any team news from the press conference, so we're waiting to see whether Nico Gonzalez has recovered from the knock he picked up at the weekend that saw him forced off in that FA Cup win at Leyton Orient, whether he's going to be taking part in the first part of training. Also, Ederson, he also missed out on the weekend. Could he come back in? Is he available? And then there's the likes of Nathan Ake, Jeremy Doku as well. So we'll get a sense of who is fit and available for Pep Guardiola at 3 o'clock when we see them train here at the City Football Academy. Then we'll make the short trip, the half a mile or so over to the Etihad, and we'll get ready for Real Madrid's arrival. We'll be hearing from Carlo Ancelotti on Real Madrid's plans, how their squad is shaping up. We should be hearing from Rodrigo as well. He's someone that Manchester City fans won't necessarily be looking forward to hearing from after his 2 injury time goals a couple of years ago helped Real Madrid get through a pulsating and dramatic tie against City. And then we'll see Real Madrid on the pitch at the Etihad after 7 o'clock as well. And we'll bring you each and every part of that day here as we get ready for a huge game on Sky Sports News.
It's all of that, Ben, but thank you for now. Staying with Manchester City, midfielder Rodri was in attendance at last night's Super Bowl in New Orleans, watching the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Kansas City Chiefs. He joined the Sky Sports team to open up about his journey back from that big knee injury, ACL problem.
It's part of life, you know, like injuries, as we all know, that we're exposed to these kind of things. But I'm a very positive guy in the sense that I take it what it is, you know. I always thank God for everything, and in this kind of moment try to be positive and maybe do all of the stuff you're not used to do, like let's say come here, spend more time with your family, and why not try to improve in other parts of your body, work on that and come back stronger.
Well, Rodri's been using the facilities of NBA team the New Orleans Pelicans, working with a physio sent by Manchester City. And while he's been named in their squad for the Champions League knockouts, it's unclear whether he will be able to play again this season.
Are you a frustrated spectator now you're on the sidelines? How do you deal with that?
No, I don't deal good with that. You are like more and more nervous. You cannot control what's going on. But yeah, it's try to support my teammates from the outside and give them my vision and help them.